Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for March 26, 2019, with your host, Spacebreaker2448, and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
I have to talk about this off the bat because I did not know this was going to happen. So, there is a writer-related podcast on YouTube called Soto Pop. And they talk about essentially the candy toy stuff for Rider and Sentai, because that's what the three people on the podcast collect, so that's what they talk about for the most part. And in this week's episode 6 for them, they gave me a shout out because I've commented on the last couple of videos because they talked about stuff I was interested in, and I gave a comment talking about it. And it ended up into the conversation with whoever is the one who comments on it, since they comment with the YouTube account instead of their separate accounts. But you know what's funny about this podcast?
What?
The only reason I'm listening to this podcast is that one person I followed like 5 years ago because they were doing Gaim news, Molinus, which I've been mispronouncing as Malinus apparently, because he said on Twitter that it's pronounced Molinus. And now I feel bad because I've been saying that for like 5 years now, whenever I talk about anything he does. Yeah, he's on there. And I originally followed him because, oh yeah, he wrote that Gaim fanfiction I liked, and oh yeah, he does writer news every now and again for toy stuff. And I've been following his various blogs on Tumblr since then. And now he's on this podcast, and I'm like, you're like the only reason I'm here. And apparently I'm not the one I'm not talking to you specifically at any point in these conversations, because I think the first time I commented was they were talking about how we're getting candy toy Pokemon stuff for the Mewtwo Strikes Back CG movie. Remember me telling you about that?
I think so.
Yeah, the CG remake of the first Pokemon movie. We're getting candy toy stuff for it, where it's just, hey, here's a Mewtwo figure, a Mew figure, a Charizard figure, a box for effect parts, and here's a box that gives you the armor for Mewtwo from the show. Which I don't think we've ever gotten, like, ever, in plastic form. I don't think. So that's pretty cool. But I was talking to them about, since they like to reuse parts that's at a smaller scale, you can't really reuse parts for Pokemon.
Yeah.
And like, outside of some Mega Evolutions that you can reuse parts for, because some can't, like, you're not reusing parts for Mega Slowpoke. That's practically a brand new figure. Because it's practically a Beyblade. And if you're wondering, yes, Mega Slowpoke is in fact a Beyblade, because he's just like the shell for Slowbro. Or no, it's not Mega Slowpoke, so Mega Slowbro, my bad. It's the shell for Mega Slowbro that's just like ate the entire Slowpoke, but now it's just a spinning top. Dumb and weird, and that's a Mega Evolution. But like, you can reuse parts for the Charizard ones. You just have to make a new, like, wings, head, and arms for both. And also it needs to be all in black. But I was talking to them about that, and about if they do trainers in this, they could reuse parts there. Because most trainers are about the same body shape. So you could do that. Like that. I think last week it was about the Deno reveal, and about flat form, like the base form for Den-O, whether that would be a separate figure, which it's probably not. You just need like 2 pieces on the base body for it, and you got flat form. And this week they were looking for information on previous Sentai Candy Toy stuff, or Candy Toy posable figures, because there's very little information. And I remembered a Gokai Silver review. That's not the Candy Toy version of the toy. It's like a actual like 6-inch figure, I think, that has a working Gokai Silver key.
Huh.
That doubles as the Gokai Silver Gold Mode armor, because it transforms into the armor. And it actually looks good.
Well then.
I was like, I remember this. I remember seeing a review for it. I can't find the YouTuber I watched the review for to start with, because the 2 people I immediately thought, you're the people I saw this review for, didn't have it in their archive. So I have no idea where I saw it. I don't know if I'm just misremembering the gimmick and thought they made a toy of it, or I did see it, I just don't really remember the reviewer. Yeah, it's Frozen Stratos, Josh Perry, and Molinus on various Twitters and YouTube related stuff. The podcast is Soto Pop on YouTube. You can find him on Twitter at DieSoto Pop. I believe it's DieSoto Pop. Because some grandma had Soto Pop taken, so they had to go with DieSoto Pop. It's DAI for reference. I thought I mentioned that since this happened after we did TGS, so it'd be like 2 weeks before I could say it again. Or before I could say it, so I figured I'd do it here. With that out of the way, we've got 4 episodes of Double to cover this week. It is 39 through 42, The Potential of G, and as I scroll through my notes, The J Labyrinth. So we've got a very odd 2-parter with this first one. I don't want to call it bad, because I don't think it's bad. Like, would you call this first 2-parter bad?
No.
Like, I like the second
but not bad.
Yeah. I like the second 2-parter better, but that's because not only is it a mystery, but like it's a good mystery, but also I kind of call that mystery because A, I remember it slightly, and B, it's kind of a copy of Terrory's original, like his introduction arc with the mystery of was it Ice Age? I think that was the name of the guy. I remember it was Ice Age.
I can't remember.
Yeah, because you had like the mom trying to cover for his kid as the Dopant, and that was like the debut of Terry as Axel. Because like I super remember, because I'm like, this feels exactly like that, where we think it's this one person is very obviously presented as the Dopant, and oh look, it's not. Also, this is like the one 2-parter that focuses on Jin as a character, kind of. And also gives us a little bit of like Shotaro's backstory along with Jin's backstory. Which I think is like the only time anybody from the Informants gets any kind of remote backstory.
I think you're right.
Like the only other one who's an informant that gets backstory is Narumi's informant, but that's important for the plot of the episodes. Here, it's more or less there because he's involved with the characters of the week. Any thoughts before we hop into these 2-parters? The two-parters?
No.
Alright. We'll kick things off with episode 39, Bad Cinema Paradise. And we're at the office to start off with, coming off of 38, where Philip is down because his other sister went crazy, essentially. I was gonna say his sister was crazy, but they
You'd
both
have
have.
to kind of narrow that down.
They
To
both
say.
have at this point, and both went.
Yeah.
I think both have hit their like tipping point into crazy at this point, because I'll be honest, I feel like the drivers that the Sonozakis have aren't as protective of them as they think they are.
I have to think you're right.
Because I know Ryubei mentions several times during the series that the drivers protect them from the negative influences of the Gaia memories. But I severely doubt that, considering like these last few episodes with Wakana and Sayaka both kind of starting to act like dopants we've seen over the course of the series, where they just dive further and further and further into their obsessions. But we're at the office. Philip thinks she's lost to the memory. And a lady shows up saying that she was in a movie that she doesn't remember being a part of, and it's being shown at the theater she works at, and also people get locked in the theater and are forced to watch this movie. This movie sounds terrible, to be honest. It looks terrible every time we see supposedly scenes of it, I'll be honest. It probably doesn't help that the lead keeps having just like 2 lines.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help that it's 7 hours.
No, at least 7 hours.
No,
Because it wasn't finished.
Oh my god, yeah. It's 7+ hours. 7+ hours. That would make it the longest movie in history, I think.
Probably.
Like, who would watch the 7-hour fucking one-man guerrilla filmed, honestly garbage-looking movie? I'm sorry, Shotaro is right. This movie is garbage. But, getting ahead. We'll get to that point. Don't worry, it won't take that long. But Shotaro and Akiko go to investigate the theater. They try to go see the movie. I guess the manager says, you can't do that because you disturb customers. Which is ironic considering what happens like 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
But they're dismayed, except until they... Not yet. They run into a clumsy guy who works at there, who is chewed out by one female employee, but then helped out by a different female employee. I didn't catch either one of their names. I didn't even catch the name of the guy who's working here. That's the dopant. Spoilers. The clumsy guy's the dopant, if you could not tell from the first 5 minutes of this episode. But he reminds Akio of Philip with how he's acting. And also he proceeds to ship him and the girl that helps him out, because Akiko is a shipper at heart, I assume. But they walk off when Shotaro discovers, oh yeah, you remember that period piece drama from like 6 episodes ago? There's a movie for that period piece drama. And so Shotaro and Akiko are going to go to an empty theater to watch it, because apparently they're the only 2 people in the damn city who want to watch it at... I forgot. There was a... Shotaro flashed his watch in the episode. I think they were at a 1 o'clock showing.
I think it was... Actually, no. It would have been like a noon showing. Because when he flashed his watch about it being like 7 hours later, it was like 7 something.
I think it was like 7:29. I will look this up, folks.
Because I was fixing to say you're probably right, but then it's like, no, that can't be.
Hang on. 7:20. It would have been like a noon showing. Like, how many people how popular is this period drama that no one is going to watch it at a noon screening?
Well, apparently that just told you. I mean,
it also has to be on like a weekday, I feel like, because it can't be the weekend. Because I would think the release be like 2 people going to see this on a weekend. Like, I'll put it this way. Me, at I want to say it was like a 1 o'clock showing of the Ratchet and Clank movie on like a Friday, could not be in an empty theater. I had an old couple, or like an old elderly couple in the theater with me, in this small, like, probably family-owned movie theater. And this is probably like the biggest theater in Futo, and they got an empty theater. Like, the odds are extremely rare for that, which is probably reflective of that period drama, or how much people don't want to go to this movie theater, because we are not getting stuck watching this mystical 7-hour boring slugfest of a film. Because, yeah, they get stuck watching it. By the way, the Sonozakis are doing stuff while we cut back and forth. Mainly just so Wakana is just shown fully on board with this. Also, the movie has an absurdly long title, which is saying something for Double, considering it has an absurdly long title for its movie. For those wondering, the movie title is Jessica's Entranced Wandering. Why is the injured girl going west? Adrift edition. By the way, the movie's also unfinished. Which I have in my notes saying, what is this, a AAA video game?
Pretty much.
Far too long and somehow still feels unfinished. Also,
except in
like,
this case, it actually is unfinished, so...
Yeah. How do you film 7+ hours worth of material and still can't finish your movie? Yeah, also, in the middle of this, June and Sayaka are having a conversation. Mainly just to push her towards her plot later. So yeah, back at the theater after Shotaro is just like, fuck this, I want out, and can't leave because the door is now concrete, I assume. I don't know what it's supposed to look like. I assume it's supposed to be like concrete. He's stuck there. And once it finally becomes unfinished, Shotaro's fed up with it and is like, alright, who's got this bullshit that just wasted 7 hours of my life? And out pops the Gene Dopont. Now, bear in mind, we don't like this, and Shotaro doesn't like this. Akiko loves this fucking 7-hour garbage pile. I'm not sure how, but she does. So yeah, now we're fighting Gene, and Philip's off to the bookshelves to figure out what the fuck's going on. He's like, oh, it's the Gene memory! Except Wakana shows up, seals the book, which, that doesn't help us out at all. Or no, oh right, no, that's the Jewel one when she steals the book. Here she just shows up to say hi and goes, "Oh yeah, I'm here by the way." Oh wait, no, that doesn't. Okay, I'm getting this stuff mixed up because that doesn't happen yet, right? Is that not the? That's not the end of this two-parter, is it?
I don't remember right offhand. I watched them
It's
all back to back. So it's one of those. It's like some things are running together.
Yeah, it doesn't help that like that's important for like the next two-parter, but like it's like one scene and it's like, oh, this happens too. It doesn't help that like right now we're in like the ongoing story of Double. Like, yeah, we do have a case of the week that we're following, but like that's not the important plot stuff. There's important plot stuff still happening, and it just runs through more so than usual. Yeah, that doesn't happen yet. But Double is fighting the Gene Dupont, and Gene is practically a jobber. He's terrible at this. But he does manage to transform Shotaro's hand on the Cyclone side into a cow puppet because he put a leaf on it and used the Gene memory to like combine it with his hand, and out pops a cow puppet. And I'm not gonna lie, I can't help but laugh at the antics involving the cow puppet.
Yeah.
And how Philip just no-sells the entire thing. Is like, oh yeah, this is a cow puppet. Like Shotaro, it's fine. We'll just transform into Luna and everything will be okay. Meanwhile, Shotaro was screaming his head off at the fact that his hand has been turned into a goddamn cow puppet. Because this is Double. And goddamn it, Shotaro is such an amazing just goof. Because not only would I believe that him doing this in character, everything he does is like, oh yeah, this is him. He's a goofball, but he can be serious when he wants to. But yeah, they managed to knock out Gene, which just knocks the memory out of him, which shows kind of how much of a jobber he is. It's just like, they didn't even really hit him with a memory break, I think.
No, they didn't.
They just smacked him with Luna's extended hand, and it's like, oh, there goes the memory. And oh look, it's the clumsy guy from earlier. But they're ready to haul him into Terry because, you know, that's their job. But Akiko goes, no, I have a plan. Meanwhile, Sayaka sneaks into the office and steals the Nazca memory so she can show up later with it. That's important. But we cut to, I guess, one of the shooting locations Toei has on the docket because it's just a quarry somewhere. Because Akiko's brilliant plan, well, her, like, surface level plan is to help this guy because he's the one that made the movie, because he's just trying to impress some girl, I guess. Maybe, not really. We didn't really get into that part. I think he's just a kid who just wants to make a movie and is really bad at it because this is his first movie. But the surface level plan is to, like, have him just give up the Gene memory of his own accord and give it to them so they can break it by, like, helping him make his movie that he's got in his head. And she even, like, went down with the 7 hours plus script, I assume, and went, all right, we're shrinking this down to 90 minutes and just cut out all the bullshit. But her deeper plan is apparently because they've roped in the girl that hired him to start with into helping, and a bunch of the informants, plus Terry and the young rookie cop as well into this, which is just did everyone just agree to do this initially, or did they not know what the fuck was going on?
Or did they just not have a choice in the matter?
Considering they probably were going to be initially paid maybe for this, I don't think they were. Because I believe, like, Watchmen says it's like, are we going to get paid for this? But yeah, her deeper plan is to essentially use this to have Clumsy Guy talk to our client for the week and get them shipped. So that's the deeper plan. Because apparently Akiko's just got all the plans this week, and god damn it, this episode is dumb, but I can't help but like it because god damn it, we are 30 episodes into this series and I can't be mad at these characters when they're doing this dumb plot now. I like them too much to be mad. So now that all this is laid out, we go back to the Sonozakis, where Ryubei presents the Gaia Progressor, which is in this case that is filled with goop that the Gaia Progressor is sitting on top of. I don't know why it needs to be in the goop all the time, but it is.
Because it's special extreme goop.
Apparently quite literally, considering what it does later.
Yep. Hence why I said that.
Yep. But they need the guy with the gene memory, who apparently is a genius of something. I don't think we ever got into that part.
Nope.
But once more cutting back, and I also have my notes at this point of like, does she have like the same two lines that they repeat over and over and over again over the course of this entire fucking movie? Because she keeps saying she'll cut open her own path and something else, and I'm like, is that your only lines?
Probably.
Do you not have other lines? But yeah, the director doesn't like this because it's not what he wants, but he can't really speak about it because he's really introverted. It can only speak by writing on this notebook he has with his giant marker that is somehow writing really small. Like, that's a bigger, like black eraser marker or black whiteboard marker, right?
Looks like it.
And he writes really tiny for that. I'm like, that is impressive. You are pulling that off. But when this happens, Wagata shows up to be like, hi, I want the gene memory, so she proceeds to fight double. And then Sayaka shows up and turns into technically blue Nazca to start with, but then it becomes red Nazca, which I think June is in the background somewhere saying that it's level 3 or something. So it's like a stronger Nazca because we're bringing back Nazca because we're saving the budget somewhere this late into the show, and I guess we're just going to repaint the Nazca suit now. I think this is even the Nazca suit that shows, or the Nazca suit that shows up in A to Z. I'm trying to remember. I think it is.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So we have a bit of a three-way, and Terry and Double are getting their butts kicked while Akiko flips out about the director not liking his stuff. And that's the end of our episode, by the way. Is we end on Akiko flipping out as everyone's getting exploded in the background. Because once more, Double is an extremely serious show that has no goofs in it. But that brings us to episode 40, You Are Unforgivable. Where we essentially just break off the fight because Sayaka kicks everyone's butts and Wakana is pissed about this and they both leave. And Philip's like, God damn it, both my sisters are fucking crazy now. God damn it. Why? Why can't my family not be crazy? Why am I the only sane person left? Besides the cat.
I feel like the cat's crazy too.
The cat likes him. Like, I've said this before, but like the cat's the only one that survives the series.
Yeah, but I feel like the cat has to be crazy too to go along with their stupid crap.
Probably. Yeah, at this point we find out that the guy's not interested in the girl that way, so the ship is sunk, but Akiko refuses to give up, so she will make that ship float as necessary. We're at the hotel where Jun, I guess, is trying to hit on Sayaka, but he's terrible at it. And he's really bad at this.
He's really bad at holding stuff too.
I think you can take a shot for every time he drops something. I feel like you can actually...
Maybe even two.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
So that's happening.
Yeah.
That's happening. Meanwhile, on set, Akiko's just trying to do her job and try to help this guy. And eventually just, like, tries to talk Terry into kissing Helper Girl to make the guy jealous and, like, get something going there. Which Terry is not into at all and immediately gets offset and runs. My dog has decided to get into my dirty clothes at the moment for some reason. Can I help you? Can I help you? Yes. Yes. Quit. Give me 1 second, folks. Alright, I'm back.
Okay.
I had to go after my dog because he decided to steal a pair of my dirty underwear. I don't know why. He just did. Second time he's done that today, by the way. My dog is absolutely silly. I don't understand. I just accept. Anyway, we're with Terry running offset and being chased after the young guy, the young cop, under Akiko's orders because she will get this ship back afloat, goddammit. But meanwhile, we head back to... Is it in the TV station? I forgot what... I forget what the main front for museum that we deal with outside of the actual museum that I think only happens early in the show is. I think it's a TV station.
I can't remember.
I know it has a name, but I completely forgot the name. No, the sign showed up this week. Yes? Pushy? He's back in here. He shoved the door open because I didn't shut it completely. I'm back again. This time my dog stole a pair of socks. I don't know why he does this. I don't. It's not for attention, because he gets all grumpy and growly about the thing he stole.
Maybe he just wants to play.
Not really. If you try to take the thing away from him, he just gets grumpy and growly about it. It's like he takes something and then he gets grumpy about it. Because it's like if you want something, you gotta communicate it better than just steal a thing. So I'm not sure what he wants when he does stuff like this. Especially at 11:30 at night. Anyway, we were at the TV station with Clay Doll and Asuka fighting, because that's what it ends up leading to. They fight. Clay Doll gets her butt handed to her, so Wakana ends up going off and grabbing her goopy Gaia processor, her very precious goopy rock. Which leads to the next scene where the guy pulls Akiko aside again and just he's not happy with the situation. They have a bit of an argument. And then Wakana just shows up and kidnaps him, and then they're gone. And also Shotaro gets in charge of directing for a little bit, so he's just filming scenery. I think he ends up filming a flower for I don't even know how long. But once he's there, Wakana essentially goes, alright, fuse this rock into me or die. So he fuses the rock into her. And Akiko, without saying a word to anybody, immediately rushes off to go help this guy. And then, after having a few words, proceeds to not only smack the guy with her slipper, but smacks Clay Doll with her slipper as well. In her monster form, no hesitation. And proceeds to chew them both out for not having, or not trying to make a choice of their own accord, but just following whatever has been put in front of them, essentially. Which, okay, I know people have problems with Akiko's character in Double. If there's anything universal about Double besides it being good, is that Akiko is probably not the best character. Because she's loud and screechy and all that, but it's moments like this that I go, she's a kid. She's pretty young compared to probably the rest of the cast, I think, age-wise. But in these moments, back all the way back in the single-digit episodes, when when Shotaro had that moment of her reminding him of, it's these moments of yeah, give her a few years, and she'll be like Narumi. Well, maybe not exactly like Narumi, but she'll grow into a better person. Because it's there, it just is really unrefined. But yeah, she ends up getting the guy out of there after Clay Doll goes extreme, essentially, and starts putting on a light show. And he goes back, finally speaks and complains about her, about the client, not being dark and dreary enough, I guess. Would probably be the best way to sum up what he says to her.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, by the way, your friend's in trouble over there at the building with the light show going on that I guess you can't see from here. I guess being in the forest covers it up."
Probably. Or at least that's the excuse.
Yep.
I'm sorry. That light show should probably be seen for miles.
Yeah. So yeah, then we get Double and Axel versus Claydol, which they try to memory break her with the literal weakest memory break they have in Double Extreme.
Yeah.
Which is the Prism break. Or is the Prism the Prism memory break. Like that is your weakest memory break. That's like a normal memory break, and it somehow breaks Claydol, but doesn't work. That allows her to become Claydol Extreme, and also that fucking composite when she comes back up. That composite was really bad. You can see how blurry that background is compared to Claydol. But Claydol evolves into Claydol Extreme, and Ryobei reveals to June that this was all part of the plan. Like, they let Double run around and do shit because it gave them data on, like, how to, I guess, make the Gaia progressor and access Extreme. So, yeah. Bit Machiavellian of them to do this. Which I guess plays into the overall, like, scheme with the museum of, like, yeah, everything they do is an experiment, and success or failure, it's results. Because they can just make another copy of the memory. Hell, like, we won't really talk about it because we already, like, reviewed A to Z on TGSR, or the old version of TGSR. But, like, most of the T2 Gaia memories that show up in that movie are from the series, I believe.
I'm pretty positive you're right on that.
Like, let me look that up because I don't quite remember. So there's only like a handful that are new for the movie. Where'd it go? There it is. Oh, there's no link to the T2. Alright, here. Ah, crap. I have to actually search for the T2 Gaia memories. I thought it would just give me a list there. No. Yeah, Axel, Bird, Cyclone, Dummy, Eternal, Fang, Gene, Heat, Ice Age, Joker, Key. I feel like we've seen Key. Key might be new. Luna, Metal, Masca. Ocean, I think, is new. Puppeteer's not new. Queen, I think, is new. Rocket's new. Which is like a weird, is this foreshadowing for Forze, or was this just thrown in here because we needed an R memory?
I'd have to think probably just accidentally thrown in there.
Yeah. Because, like, Forze wouldn't be in production, in, like, anywhere close to production, I feel like. They probably wouldn't be anywhere close to that, because O's was...
It depends on how far ahead they plan these shows, because it might have been in talks at that point.
Maybe.
Like, it depends on how far ahead they plan. If they only really plan for the next show, then no, that was completely a coincidence.
Trying to remember, because Toku Nation had an interview with, I forget his name, but it was somebody from Bandai America who talked a little bit about the Bandai Japan side, and this was mainly for the Sentai end of things. But I believe they are 2 concepts ahead, in theory, I think. but the second one is kind of a generalized concept instead of a specific one, I think. I have to re-listen to the interview. Because I know when he was talking about it, like, the thing he was describing was Lupat, and Lupat only just, like, got revealed, I think.
So then, in a case like that, I would think that might have been somewhat intentional.
Yeah.
Like, it might not have been a full-on, but it was definitely one of those, they had plans of a space-themed at that point. So that probably made sense to throw that in because, oh look, we can add that into a eventual connection to that show. Because at this point, we wouldn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like besides Rocket, only like 3 of these other T2 memories are new, which is kind of crazy, and also kind of crazy when you look at the memories that are in there and you go, holy fuck, some of these are really important memories, even the Dopant ones, because like Bird was the one that was being passed around by like 4 different people. Dummy is the one from Movie War 2010, which is the first appearance of Skull. Gene is what we're talking about right now. So the debut of Clay All Extreme. Ice Age is Terrori's debut. Puppeteer is kind of the odd one out because it wasn't any big debut of anything, but it was a big Akiko focused episodes. But also kind of was not quite solved by the end of the day. I think Unicorn's new. Violence is Fang Joe. Yesterday we're covering next week. And Zone, I don't know. I think Zone's new. I'd have to go into all this.
Zone's in with the Extreme.
No, that's Prism.
Teleport.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, that is. Oh, yeah. Now I remember. Yeah, that. Oh, wow. Yeah, that covers all the major form debuts then. Because Weather's also in here. But, like... Actually, no, Weather's the only... Like, Weather and NASCAR are the only, like, big boss enemies in this. Because none of the other Sonozaki memories are in here. Which is kind of weird, but I guess Ryubei went, that's a deal breaker, you're not copying these memories.
Well, 2 of them I could understand. And the 2 that I'm saying I could understand would probably be Clay Doll in light of how we know it can have connection to Extreme.
Yeah.
And Terror because why give your trump card?
Yeah.
Like, I can completely see both of them being deal breakers.
And also, those 2 are the CNTs, and also, like, besides Trial, all of Double's memories are in this. Because all of the core 6 Double memories are here. Axel's here. Extreme is even here as a memory. Enfang is here as a memory. It's like the only thing that isn't a part of the core powers of our writers is Trial. And it's probably only because, oh, we want Trigger because we want to do Dopants for all of the main Double memories besides Joker. So we can't have that overlap. Anyway, we have Clay Doll Extreme and proceeds to just tear up everybody. And it takes Double doing the, I guess, the second version of the... That was my amp falling in the floor. Actually, it probably was my fidget spinner falling in the floor because I use it as a keep this on my desk, please. But if I move far enough, it won't because the cord is just not long enough for that to not be the case. I was trying to turn to get a water. But instead of using all of Philip's memories plus Joker, they used all of Shotaro's memories plus Cyclone to get a shield instead of a laser beam. Which, I have a question then. What would happen if they go half and half? Because they don't go half and half. They only go like 3+1 or 3+1. Like, what would you get with 2+2?
That is a good question.
I wonder if there were any internal variations of that, or would there be even variations of either Final Illusions if they used not Cyclone and not Joker and inserted something else? But anyway, that stops Claydol from like blowing them up, and Claydol like leaves because she's done. And we wrap up there. Also, I forgot to mention this earlier, but like we had a like dream sequence where the actress got a bouquet of flowers like they normally give to the actors on their final show or their final appearances. Was that a prop bouquet of flowers, or was that one they were going to give somebody that it's like, we need this for a shot real quick? Because I'm like, I'm pretty sure you have that kind of stuff just like on the books ordered, like in bulk, like a couple months out from like the show ending. Or you just have it ordered for in case you need like an order like that in the next couple days because you know an actor or like a major actor is done with their filming. So did you just order one extra for this, or was that like a prop one that you have? Because I would think it would be funny if it was a prop one.
Yeah, it would be hilarious if it was a prop one.
Yeah, the G memory's broken because the guy hands it over because it took till now for us to go, maybe we should break the memory. But I guess we wouldn't have a plot if they broke it sooner, so... But in an episode shows Wakana can access the bookshelves. In an ethereal form, she's not physically there. She's only kind of like ghost spooky there. That is it for this first two-parter. What do you think?
I have to say, it kind of gets back to how we've said there's not really bad episodes, but there is weaker ones. And I feel like this arc kind of fit that.
Yeah, they are a pair of weaker episodes of Double, but in a show with a lot of strong episodes, it's okay, and I'm okay with that. Like, it gets to like my main point of like what helps make a really good show for a writer is that I care about these characters and I want to see these characters do stuff. Like, if you have a good plot and good characters, that can carry a decent show to be a good show because you care about the people here. And even in a slower, weaker episode, you still like the episode because I like the antics of these people. Which is why I don't like Geo, because it has neither of those. It doesn't have a good plot, and it doesn't have good characters. So I don't care. And then I fall into super critical mode where I nitpick the fucking show to death. Because you were right, I was nitpicking the show pretty hard at the beginning.
Yeah.
But now it's just like...
I'm not saying that it wasn't deserved, because the very early stuff, and I'm talking about, the build arc, they should have had better communication skills. Mm-hmm. There was too much in just those 2 episodes alone that if you wanted to nitpick, you could find enough to hate the show right there. Yeah. And that's bad.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the show hasn't, grew its characters since then to make them really likable, unfortunately.
Until, this coming week, when we might actually finally get some kind of backstory for someone in this show.
Yeah, we are, from a photo, or a still image from the show, we are supposedly going to be getting a backstory for Gates, Tsukiyomi, and Waz. Original Black Waz, not White Waz. So, that stuff we've kind of hinted at in, one-liners, in, single lines for, a couple episodes, maybe, we might finally get an explanation for it. And, I guess they were all for part of the resistance, and I guess Waz left and traded them and joined Obagio, I guess, is where we're going with this. That's my assumption. But they also seem kind of friendly for it to be that, so it can't be that big of a betrayal. I think? Can it? Waz can't be responsible for somebody's death. Otherwise, their relationship doesn't really make sense. Because Gates doesn't hate him enough for that.
Yeah.
Which is also the weird point of, there's only so many ways this can, logically be for it to make sense, considering what we've established over 26 episodes, which makes me very worried that we're going to be very retconny in their relationship. And I am just not going to be in the mood for that, because you've already retconned something that makes me very angry. Very, very angry. I believe, to quote the thing I sent to you before we did the show Saturday, when I found this out, was I simply linked you the image that I found on Discord, specifically the Tokusatsu Network's Discord, where somebody dropped saying, hey, they're dropping the whole thing about the Another Riders erasing riders from history so they can appear at the same time, because that's a paradox now that's just going to happen. And my exact words to you in text were, all of my hate, in all capitals, with hate accentuated, because I was very angry. Because now we blew tributes from most of the second half of the Heisei era, which is the era I like predominantly. And instead of getting proper team-ups with all of those riders, we might get proper team-ups with, who do we have left? Blade next week. Akito, Hibiki, Kabuto, Kiva, an eventual team up with Decade, because I assume we'll get another Decade at some point, and Drive.
I wouldn't hold your breath on another double.
I know we're not getting double.
Yeah, that's the only downside.
We're not going to get double because it's kind of, I assume, double, Den-O, and Kuga are all checked off from, Heisei Generations Forever. because that's where all of their another writers showed up. So for all intents and purposes, yeah, that's their tribute, which sucks because Double isn't even a featured part of that. Deno is more featured in that tribute in that movie than Double is. Hell, I think one of the informants is the one that gives Sogo the Double ride watch to take care of another Double. And we don't even get to know another Double's identity. For all we know, another Double might have been someone from Futo, might not. Who knows? It doesn't matter, because a Double wasn't the focus of the movie. Instead, it was build Geo and then Kuga as the end goal. It sucks so much that we don't get anything for Double, and I doubt we're getting anything for Drive because Shinosuke's actor is really popular, so he's probably not going to come back. Apparently, Shotaro is booked for like 2 years, so he's not able to come back at all. And Philip's actor is super popular. Like, I believe it just got confirmed today that he's doing the dub of Shazam for the Shazam movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he is Shazam. And I believe, Tamari's actor, he's dubbing, what is the kid's name from Detective Pikachu?
I have no idea.
He's dubbing that kid, the main kid from Detective Pikachu. Like, that is how stupidly big and popular those two have become, to where it's like they may never return because they may never get a chance to return or be allowed a chance to return, because when you get that popular, you don't come back to Tokusatsu because it's low budget kitsch stuff. Like, you're too big for that. So, like, our only hope for a double or for a Drive tribute is to get a supporting cast member back at best. If I think Chase's actor is apparently retired, so we can't get Chase back unless we recast Chase, which at that point, no, please don't. I like for us to not recast a character for a tribute if possible.
So that poor Geo's gonna do it.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. That would give me another reason to hate the show, apparently. Our only hope for a writer would be Go's actor, if he's available. And that's it. Unless we get the Chief back to play his not writer form, to have a writer back to team up with. Assuming that's where the tributes are going to go. Or you roll in Drive with another show to, like, do what you did with Forza AM5s. Which might be what they do since the Drive Watch is in play. That's my only guess. Is they would roll in Drive with something else.
Yeah.
Which, once more, sucks. Because it's like, great, all the shows I like don't get really well represented in Geo. So I can't even be happy for tribute. Anyway. Back to Double. Back to Good Writer. These 2 episodes are fine. They're not spectacular or amazing, but they're fine. I enjoy these characters. I laugh at their antics. It makes me happy. It makes me happy to watch a Good Writer show. Like, really happy to watch a Good Writer show. Because, I need a Good Writer show right now. So, ready to move on to episodes 41 and 42?
I guess so.
All right. We're going to kick things off with episode 41, The Psychotic Villainess, where we open with finding out that Jin, the cop friend of Shotaro's, is accused of stealing jewelry. And apparently a woman in a red hat and a red dress stole it from him. So, Ada Wong, I guess? It fits? So Shotaro and Akio are out to find the woman in the red dress, which I feel like this is referencing a noir plot, but I don't know noir enough to know a specific plot for this. But it wouldn't surprise me if they are referencing a specific one. Because, fuck, what's the story? Philip's name is a reference to a noir story. I forget which one. They call it out in the show. Is it A Long Good Night? Is it that one? I don't remember. I know Narumi gives Philip the name because it's his favorite character in a noir story that he likes. And I think it's The Long Good Night. I might be wrong on that. Holler at us if you know the correct one. But from there, we see that they are out all night looking for this girl. And we get the montage to the tune of Nobody's Perfect, which, wow, they're pulling this song out like really quick for this. That's really weird. Because the last time we heard Nobody's Perfect was Double Extreme's debut. So it's weird to hear this song used here in kind of a fillerish episode.
Yeah. Yeah, like I thought, I kind of thought it was a little out of place feeling anyhow.
Like, I get it because of how we end, but I feel like it should have been saved for the end.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to bookend the two episodes with Nobody's Perfect.
Or maybe, you know, have Shotaro explaining like he does at the beginning and kind of cut to the montage of them going around. That would have worked a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, I agree. I think it fits with that at the end. But it's like, it doesn't leading up to there.
Yeah. It just feels like another case. Granted, like, one of our informants is accused of a serious crime, but it you know, we don't know, like, how deep this case goes just yet. But after they're pretty much exhausted from it, Shotaro goes to explain that, like, Jin isn't an idiot. He's an expert idiot, essentially. And we get another montage of young punk Shotaro continually telling Jin, hey, look, there's a UFO, to distract him, for him to get away from whatever antics he was involved in, I assume. We don't ever really get specifics of Shotaro's, like, childhood. Outside of, I think, like, the first two episodes.
I think you're right.
Like, the only other time I can think of seeing any type of backstory for Shotaro is when we see Kid Shotaro in a cameo appearance in Movie War Core. When we, like, flash back to Narumi's first, like, his first time becoming Skull. Because he's there. But it's like a blink and you miss a cameo. And I don't think he's even, like, it's even said to be Shotaro. You have to infer that that's Shotaro. Granted, I thought it was Philip, but until, like, I saw a review, it was like, oh yeah, that's supposed to be Shotaro, and I'm like, oh, that makes more sense. But Aikio's like, that's dumb, and proceeds to hit him with her slipper as normal. But I love how Shotaro bows his head to take the shot because he's just used to it. It's the weird little things in Double that I just appreciate. But we find out that because of this, Shotaro essentially worked himself into a shoot, to use some wrestling terminology, to where he essentially got roped into looking for this non-existent UFO by Jin. Because that's how his life is. But Santa-chan eventually gives them the clue they need of a club where a bunch of models go, because the jury is linked to, I believe they know at this time, a dopant turning models into, or turning several women into diamonds, specifically diamonds. So Santa-chan drops it like, oh yeah, they all went to this club. So they try to go to the club, and before we get there, we get a shot of Philip in the back room, like not really sure if he should enter the bookshelves because Wakana's there, and it kind of scares him that somebody else is in this place that has been uniquely his for so long. And also, all of the whiteboards are blank. I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And even like the lights are down, so it's all kind of moody. Like, again, the details of just like, you didn't have to like clean every single whiteboard in there to sell this moment, but you did, to show the fact that like Philip's not even looking up shit for his own curiosity. But back at the club, the two try to get in. Doesn't work until a guy lets them in. Who is he? Like a famous actor or something? I didn't pay attention to that part. I think he's supposed to be some famous actor. That's why.
Not an actor.
I think he cut out for me. Tommy, you there? OBS? OBS,
Go.
did you... they didn't decide to not be cooperative.
Yep.
Yay! Thanks, OBS. Love it when you just yuck on us.
But I think it was saying he was a famous model.
Okay. I didn't catch that part. I was like, oh, you're famous because people keep asking for your autograph. But I think that was like a, wow, I missed that sub part. Yeah, he helps them get in, and they ask him about it, which they also make a point of like doing a quick shot of going like, oh yeah, he has a diamond ring, by the way, which they then repeat for the lady in the red dress because she's at the club as well. And when Akiko tries to like confront her, gets her butt handed to her because, yeah, Akiko's not good at fighting, unfortunately. So she gets beat up for her troubles. So we, quote unquote, see her transform into Jewel, which I'm going to be saying that from here on out because we don't. It's once more one of those cases of you can clearly like see the writing on the wall of she's not Jewel if you've seen previous episodes of Double. But I guess that's supposed to be, at this point, you as someone who's been with Shotaro along the journey of going, yeah, this is suspicious. Because I've seen this before. and you're not fooling me this time.
Yeah, it's one of those that he's more trying to figure out how it's happening, not is it happening.
Yeah. Yeah, Double tried to take it on with just their main 3 forms. They don't really do any side swaps, and none of them work because Jewel is indestructible because it's diamonds and they're the densest material in the world, except diamonds are easily cuttable. This is why they make good jewelry. But the cutting is like really oddly is like specific for diamonds, which is also why it's not working for them because they're not cutting the or cutting Jewel in a specific way. Because I even note of like you probably need heat trigger because you need like the flamethrower finisher. But they get beat up. Jewel gets away. Our model friend pretty much hires them on to try to like find the girl because she's an old friend of his. And he wants to help her out. We see Wakanda at this point steal the book on Jewel and the bookshelves because now she can actually walk around and touch stuff. So Philip is super like, I don't want to go in the bookshelves now because I don't like this. And the guy's name is Usugi. Did I write down the girl's name? I did. Rui, that's what it is. Rui. I was like, did I write down her name? Rui. But the two of them are old acquaintances of Jin because he broke up their punk antics with another guy. I forget the other guy's name. What was the other guy's name? Started with a K.
I can't remember right offhand.
But the third guy in this situation that is not Jin disappeared, and the guy says that love triangle bullshit happened and she got mad and turned him into a Jewel, and now she's like turning models into Jewels, which how he explains it all seems pretty straightforward, which means you should immediately tell it that there's going to be a twist because we're only part here. It's once more one of the cases of we're not even at the break between episodes, and you're already laying out the entire plot for us. This is not going to be as straightforward as you think it is, as you say it is. But eventually we see that Psycho tries to like get the Jewel memory from her, or like get her to help her, and that ends in a fight, which she doesn't transform into Jewel for, which is another one of those, why does she not transform into Jewel at all at several points in these 2 episodes when she should clearly be transforming into Jewel? It's suspicious. But Shotaro tries to talk her out after she gets away from Sayako, because I believe Terry ends up distracting her. Because we end up with Double versus Jewel and Terry versus Nazca on the side. And I also note at this point, I'm like, yeah, this is Terry's intro arc all over again. It's someone we think should be the Dopant, but it's not the Dopant, which ends up being a surprising rarity in Double. Because most of the time we firmly establish who the Dopant is, right? Tommy, you there?
Yep.
Okay. I was just wondering, like, them kind of like playing with the identity of the Dopant is kind of rare in Double.
Yeah, it kind of is.
But yeah, once more, nothing is working against Jewel, not even double extreme. So we're left with a dopant we can't memory break. That takes us out of 41. And into 42, the diamond is hurt. Where Terry and Nazca interrupt the fight, and that causes the fight to be over before the opening. So a really quick, cold open. But for this episode, Jin thinks he's figured out the case, where he thinks Usugi is going to be Ruri's next target, which Shotaro takes and runs with. But we see her show up at the police department, like to check in on Jin, and I guess try to explain the situation. But Jin thinks she's responsible, which Ruri just takes and just decides to leave. While it's piss pouring rain outside, which is another one of those rare things I feel like, because that's popped up a couple times in Double, and we don't really see it anywhere else in Rider that often. The last one I can remember is actually the one in Build. Shotaro once more trying to find the truth in the matter, because I assume his gut is telling him something's going on here. And Claydol is continuing to harass Philip in the library, so we're kind of being pushed in from all corners. But eventually, from Akiko, Philip comes up with a plan to get the information. And when Usugi drops by to say, hey, Ruri wants to meet me at this pier for some reason, they decide to play along with it. And when we're at the pier, Ruri ends up confronting Usugi, which leads to this part of the pier where there's bombs, and the bombs blow up and supposedly kill Ruri. And while this is happening, Philip essentially uses that whole, not being all the way there and tricking Claydol into opening the book for him so he could read the book and find out all of Jewel's weakness. Because this all leads to them hopping onto a cruise liner that Usugi's trying to leave town. And we find out there that, yeah, Usugi's Jewel, and he's been playing them all the entire time. And using Ruri as a patsy because he's the one that turned the third guy into the Jewel, and that's the ring he's had the entire time. And Shotaro has none of it as well, because Ruri's also here because Terry saved her at the last second with Trial, which he then proceeds to save the third guy from having the ring he's stuck in being thrown off the ship as well. So they finally confront him, fight him, they go double extreme, find out where Jill's weak point is, take him down in one hit, and we book in from there. Or we book in with Nobody's Perfect from there. That's pretty much it. I forgot to take more notes for 42, but it was kind of straightforward once you saw where the twist was. Also, I want to ask if you noticed this. When they're on the cruise liner out in the open, did it feel like the entire scene was ADR'd? Tommy? Hello? OBS, are you breaking again?
Got it.
Okay. But yeah, when they're on the cruise ship, did it feel like every scene there was ADR'd? Like none of it felt sounded like the right audio?
A little bit, but it all kind of sounded like it was done the same way, so maybe that was just how it turned out.
Well, I noticed that some of the lines, I'm like, oh no, this line is ADR because it sounds just like when they're like when the suits are active and we have them talking through the suits. It sounds like the same audio quality. But also, the wind is blowing pretty hard the entire time they're on the ship. And I am like, I don't hear the wind at all in anyone's dialogue. And that wind is loud and is like blowing hard enough that it should be muffling somebody's lines. Or like it should be audible. And I don't hear it. Which made me think that like that entire scene is ADR'd by the cast because there was probably no usable audio or very rarely usable audio when they filmed on the cruise liner because I believe they were actually out in the middle of the ocean for that one. Or at least out of port. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Any thoughts on this two-parter? Tommy?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on this two-parter?
I feel like it probably goes to show that they're both more than just being able to access the Earth's knowledge. Because, you know, Philip did figure out the loophole.
Yeah.
Granted, that doesn't directly help, but seeing as how both ends they fought not having the information at hand.
Yeah. And I think it's a nice 2 episodes to show how far our cast has come 40 episodes in, especially since we're in the home stretch of kind of dealing with the same case again, but how experience has changed how we deal with the case. But still, pretty good 2 episodes. Good batch of episodes overall. And next week, we're covering 43 through 46. Yes, 43 through 46.
Yep.
Which should take us through Old Man Shotaro 2-parter, which is the last 2-parter before we canonically go into A to Z. Because, weirdly enough, when I was watching somebody review Loopat, he talked about how he didn't see the movie for Loopat, and he didn't think he should need to see the movie for Loopat, even though there's some tie-ins to the movie in the last, like, literal episode of Loopat for that. I almost wanted to comment of, if the show explicitly tells you at a certain point you should go watch the movie, you should go watch the movie. Because Double explicitly tells you, go watch the movie now at the end of 44. And when you come back from the movie and go watch episode 45, there's a lead-in from the movie to 45. Because they kind of recap the events of the movie. I think it's a recap of the events of the movie. That's the K1, and I don't remember this one. But that'll be next week. Anything else?
No.
All right, then. We'll be back next week for the next batch of double episodes. Also make sure and see that it's our last batch of 4 episodes. I don't think it is. I think we have like one last batch of... Oh no, that is our last batch of 4 episodes. The next batch is only 3 episodes. But yeah, our last batch of 4 episodes before we talk about our last 3 episodes. And we're going into the 2 Double Returns movies after this, right?
I guess. I can't remember what we actually...
I know we're going into O's after Double, but I didn't remember if we confirmed we're covering the Double Returns movies before we get to O's, just to close the book on everything Double related.
I don't remember either. I mean, I guess we can.
Yeah, those are...
definitively say it, whether or not we did before.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll cover the 2 Double Returns to movies, the Axel and Eternal movies, which might be 2 weeks in of themselves, because I think those are like hour-and-a-half movies. I'd have to double check the runtimes.
Probably, then.
And then we'll move on to O's, since I don't know what else to do. So we'll just do O's! And then the 4's 8, and at some point, we'll be able to actually talk about Mega Max in full. And how much of a goddamn good crossover that movie is. But anyway, tomorrow, I'm doing Mario Golf, and Thursday, we're continuing with Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door.
And on Rampant Runs, it'll be the SMO 80% Moon Rando tomorrow, and Daggerhood Thursday.
Mm-hmm. And then...
oh, go ahead.
I was about to say, we're continuing Ocarina of Time Friday.
Possibly getting either on the in-game stretch or maybe finishing, depending on how quick everything goes. Because, like, we're about halfway through Spirit Temple. If Spirit doesn't take that much longer, we might actually be finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Saturday should be us doing the moon randomizer you made.
Hopefully there won't be any issues that I find tomorrow.
I'm gonna have to pull up the wiki to know which moons are which.
I have a funny feeling for some kingdoms I might have to do that. Looking at you, Seaside.
Yeah. Seaside, luncheon.
Like, I'm hoping that tomorrow I realize what in Seaside I need to try to cut down on. But I'm not holding my breath on that, because my luck, I'll be looking for that, and the stupid randomizer will decide to give me, like, vanilla any percent Seaside.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll do absolutely no good. But, yeah. It might boil down to I might just have to go in and figure out where each of those moons are in Seaside and just take a look that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what's on the docket for this week, so I guess tune in. We'll see you then, folks.